This is inner motion. We don't run from the dark. We walk straight into it. And we come out unrecognizable. You say you're tired? Good. You say you're not in the mood? Even better. You say it's not fair? Welcome to life. Nobody cares. Least of all, the future version of you who's counting on you to stop whining and start working. Every excuse you've ever made, every I'm not ready, every it's not the right time, every I'll start tomorrow, they're lies. Lies that sound sweet, feel safe, and slowly murder your potential. Not in one blow, but in 1,000 tiny cuts of comfort. You don't need a motivational playlist. You need a funeral. A funeral for your excuses. Bury them, burn them, kill them. Because here's the truth. Excuses are seductive. They wrap themselves around your neck like a warm scarf, and then they tighten. They tell you you're being kind to yourself. They whisper, take it easy. You've had a hard day. And while you sip your coffee and scroll your feed, the version of you that could have been something more, he's starving in the basement of your soul, screaming to be let out. But you're too busy complaining. So let's make something clear. You don't get to complain about results you didn't earn. You don't get to envy someone's discipline if you folded the moment it got hard. You don't get to dream big while acting small. You say you want success? Prove it. Wake up early even. When you're tired, train hard even when you're sore. Study even when your brain feels fried. Keep your word even when your mood changes. Because that's the difference between boys and men, between talkers and doers, between the almost and the always. Excuses are symptoms. The disease is weakness, and weakness is a choice. You might not control your genetics. You might not control your upbringing, but you damn sure control whether or not you show up today. Excuses are easy. That's why average people love them. But you're here, aren't you? That means there's a part of you that wants more. That part of you, the version with fire in his chest, he doesn't want comfort. He wants clarity. And clarity comes from action. Shut up and do the work. Do it when you're uninspired. Do it when it feels pointless. Do it when your whole body is screaming for rest and your mind is begging to quit. Because the man who does the work anyway, he's the one who builds resilience. He's the one who separates from the herd. He's the one who dominates. Understand this. Every time you let an excuse win, you reinforce weakness. Every time you override an excuse, you rewire your mind for war. You build neural pathways that say I go anyway. That's how killers are made. Not in the spotlight, but in the silence. Not when it's convenient, but when it's hardest. Think of the strongest people you know. Do you think they got there by following their feelings? Or do you think they earned it in the cold, in the dark, when nobody clapped? The world does not reward emotion. It rewards execution. You don't get points for effort. You get results from effort. And only if it's consistent. Only if it's relentless. Only if it's real. So ask yourself, how many years have you let slip by while justifying failure? How many times have you said next week, next year, when I feel ready? How many goals have you half started, half finished, or never begun just because you listened to a weak voice inside? Your head that said, let's wait. Silence that voice. Muzzle it. Replace it with this. I don't care how I feel. I care what I do. Because the version of you with a disciplined routine will beat the version of you who feels like a king every single time. Why? Because the disciplined man shows up. And in life, showing up is half the war. The other half is refusing to leave until it's done. So let them laugh. Let them doubt you. Let them live in cycles of talking, quitting, repeating. You're done with that. You've buried the excuses. You've burned the bridges. There's no going back. There is only work. And every rep, every grind, every second of focus, that's how you rise. This is where it starts. You don't take orders from your feelings anymore. That version of you, the one that waited for the right mood, the perfect energy, the inspiration to strike, he's fired. He's done. That soft, indecisive part of you doesn't sit at the head of the table. Discipline does. Feelings are temporary. Discipline is eternal. If your schedule depends on how you feel, you'll live a life of chaos. One day on, 2 days off. Motivation Monday, burnout Tuesday. That's not a system. That's emotional slavery. And you're not a slave anymore. You're a weapon, a machine. Not cold, not numb, just clear. Clear about what you want. Clear about how to get it. Clear that your feelings are not a valid excuse to delay action. The gym doesn't care if you're sad. The project doesn't care if you're tired. The future doesn't care if today was hard. Only you care, and you've cared too much. Cared so much, you let emotions drive your schedule. You let moods override movement, but not anymore. That era's dead. You buried it the moment you chose discipline over impulse. Every time you act, despite how you feel, you become more dangerous. Because now you're not just capable when things are easy, you're capable regardless. That's what makes you unstoppable. You're building a mind that doesn't ask, do I feel like it? You're building a mind that says, it's time to move. Because let's be honest, most of your best days started without you feeling ready. You dragged yourself out of bed. You started cold. You showed up rough, and still, you produced. Still, you made it count. That's proof. Proof that you never needed motivation. You needed motion. And once you start, everything else catches up. The energy returns. The clarity sharpens. The confidence builds. But it all starts with one brutal, quiet, powerful decision. Do it anyway. When it's hard, do it anyway. When it's boring, do it anyway. When every emotion inside you is screaming, not today, do it anyway. Because emotions are clouds. They come, they go. But your future, that's the sky. Constant. Waiting, and it deserves more than your mood swings. The man you want to become doesn't bow to feelings, he uses them. He lets pain fuel him. He lets stress sculpt him. He lets sadness remind him what matters. But he never, never lets them hold the steering wheel. You've done enough waiting. Now you move. Shut up, do the work. Let the emotions catch up later. You keep waiting, waiting for the right moment. Waiting for inspiration. Waiting for someone to pull you out of the hole you dug for yourself. But that savior, he's not coming. There is no cavalry, no applause, no rescue squad. Just you and the choice you make every single day to either rise or rot. Let that sink in. No one is obligated to save you. Not your parents, not your friends, not your partner, not the system. It doesn't matter who wronged you, who hurt you, or what went wrong in your childhood if you're old enough to understand these words. You're old enough to take responsibility. This is the moment where everything shifts. When the weight of your life drops into your hands and you either carry it or collapse under it. Because here's the brutal truth. The longer you wait for someone to believe in you, the longer you'll stay stuck. You're not a victim. You're a volunteer. Discipline is what rescues you. Not motivation. Not someone clapping for you. Not a hand reaching down. It's the work you do when no one's watching. The reps you grind out when nobody's cheering. The lonely nights when you choose improvement over distraction. You think someone's going to beg you to hit the gym? To build your business? To fix your habits? No, that's your job. That's your duty. That's your burden and your blessing. Because once you accept that no one's coming, you free yourself. You stop waiting. You stop blaming. You stop outsourcing your power. That's when everything changes. You become the hero, the leader, the builder, the man who doesn't wait but moves, who doesn't beg but builds, who doesn't hope but executes. Nobody's going to remind you to chase your dream. Nobody's going to knock on your door and ask if you're ready. Life doesn't come with alarm clocks, just consequences. And the harsh reality is, most people will forget you. If you don't do the work, if you don't leave something behind, you will vanish like smoke, quiet, invisible, forgotten. That's not dramatic, that's fact. So ask yourself, are you going to keep hoping someone saves you? Or are you going to sharpen your blade and save yourself? You want to be great? Then stop waiting for someone to notice. Notice yourself. Invest in yourself. Discipline yourself. Nobody's coming. Good. That means it's all on you now. You want growth? Then pay up. There's no progress without pain. No greatness without struggle. If you think there is, you've been lied to. The world tells you to avoid discomfort. that if it hurts, stop. But pain isn't the enemy, it's the entrance fee. It's the toll for transformation. The cost of evolution. Most people turn away when it gets hard. They flinch, they fold, they walk back to comfort. But not you. You've been avoiding pain like poison. But it's the medicine, the burn in your lungs, the ache in your muscles, the silence of discipline. That's where strength is built. You either suffer from the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. One is sharp and temporary. The other is dull and permanent. Every drop of sweat, every moment of effort, it's a receipt. A down payment on results that only show up later. Quietly, but undeniably. Pain is a test. And every time it hits, it asks, do you really want it? You answer by showing up, by finishing the reps, by going one more round. Discipline trains you to run toward pain, not from it, to see it as a teacher, to use it as fuel. Pain won't kill you. Comfort will, because comfort lets you rot in place. So when it comes, lean into it. Don't fear it. Earn your evolution. Pain is the entrance fee. Shut up. Pay it. Do the work. Who are you? Not what you say, not what you plan, not what you hope for. You are what you do over and over again. Your habits are your identity, not your goals, not your dreams, just your actions, repeated until they become automatic. Discipline doesn't scream, it whispers. In the early mornings, in the late nights, in the moments no one sees. Consistency is louder than motivation, more honest than intention, and more powerful than any excuse. Every rep you don't skip, every promise you keep, every session you show up for, that's you telling the world who you really are. Greatness isn't built in bursts. It's built in boring, in silence, in doing the same hard thing until you become the kind of person who does hard things. Naturally, most people chase variety. You chase standards. Most change when they feel like it. You change through action. You don't need to announce it. You just need to repeat it, because what you repeat, you become. Discipline isn't just about effort. It's about direction, and that direction comes from focus. Focus is how you cut through noise. It's how you stay locked in when everyone else is distracted. It's how you move forward when the world wants to pull you sideways. Every time you check your phone, chase comfort, or give attention to things that don't matter, you're giving away your edge, piece by piece, minute by minute. But when you focus, really focus, you become lethal. You stop reacting. You start creating. You stop chasing. You start building. Focus is quiet, sharp, unforgiving. It demands sacrifice. Fewer tabs open, fewer people around, fewer excuses to lean on. But the reward, clarity, progress, power. When you're locked in, distractions become invisible. Noise fades, doubt disappears. All that's left is the task and your will to crush it. This is how warriors train. This is how leaders think. This is how legends rise. They don't need more time. They need fewer leaks. So protect your focus like your life depends on it, because it does. You answer by showing up, by finishing the reps, by going one more round. Discipline trains you to run toward pain, not from it. To see it as a teacher, to use it as fuel. Pain won't kill you. Comfort will, because comfort lets you rot in place. So when it comes, lean into it. Don't fear it. Earn your evolution. Pain is the entrance fee. Shut up, pay it, do the work. The loudest man in the room is usually the weakest, because real strength doesn't announce itself. It doesn't beg for validation. It doesn't post every rep, every hustle, every move. It builds in silence. You don't need to tell anyone what you're doing. You don't need applause. You don't need eyes on you. You need progress. The grind that matters most happens when no one's watching. Early mornings, late nights, long stretches of solitude where it's just you and the mission. While others chase attention, you chase results. While they talk about goals, you become the kind of man who doesn't need to. Your actions are your proof. Your consistency is your signature. And your silence, that's your power. Let them underestimate you. Let them think you're distracted. Let them assume you've slowed down. Because one day, when the dust clears, when the lights come on, They won't recognize you. Not because you got lucky, but because you stayed quiet, stayed focused, and stayed at work while they scrolled, talked, and waited. You don't need to show off, just show up. Stay in the dark, build something no one sees, until it's too big to ignore. Winners don't talk, they move. They don't predict, they prepare. They don't beg to be seen. They work until they're impossible to miss. There's a silence that surrounds power, a stillness that makes people nervous. Because when a man isn't running his mouth, it means he's running his life. You don't have to tell them what you're building. Let the results walk in the room first. Loud men impress the crowd. Quiet men build empires. When you're focused, you don't have time to explain. When you're locked in, you don't waste energy proving anything. People will ask where you've been. They'll wonder what happened to you. And when they finally see what you've been working on, it won't be up for discussion. It will speak for itself. No debate, no negotiation, just evidence. You want to be feared? Then stop announcing your moves. Just make them. Operate in silence. Strike with precision. Leave no doubt. You don't owe the world a warning, just results. This isn't motivation. This is a declaration. A war cry against laziness, against excuses, against the weaker version of you that folded too many times. Every day you wake up, you're stepping onto a battlefield. Not with the world, with yourself, your doubt, your fear, your distractions. And the only weapon that wins that war is discipline. Not talent, not hype, not potential. Just the cold, sharp edge of daily execution. You want respect? Earn it. You want strength? Build it. You want freedom? Bleed for it. No one is coming to hand it to you. No one owes you clarity or strength or results. That's your war to fight. And you fight it with your schedule, with your habits, with your silence. You sharpen yourself in solitude. You test yourself in discomfort. You prove yourself in repetition. And when the moment comes, when the pressure hits, when the stakes are high, you don't break. You don't flinch. Because you've been training for this. You've already bled for this. You've already become the weapon. This is inner motion. We don't speak greatness into existence. We train until it has no choice but to show up. No pity, no noise, no permission. Just discipline, just silence, just work. Stay sharp, stay focused, stay dangerous, quiet, stayed focused, and stayed at work while they scrolled, talked, and waited. You don't need to show off, just show up, stay in the dark, build, something no one sees until it's too big to ignore. Winners don't talk, they move, they don't predict, they prepare. They don't beg to be seen, they work until they're impossible to miss. There's a silence that surrounds power, a stillness that makes people nervous. Because when a man isn't running his mouth, it means he's running his life. You don't have to tell them what you're building. Let the results walk in the room first. Loud men impress the crowd. Quiet men build empires. When you're focused, you don't have time to explain. When you're locked in, you don't waste energy proving anything. People will ask where you've been. They'll wonder what happened to you. And when they finally see what you've been working on, it won't be up for discussion. It will speak for itself. No debate, no negotiation, just evidence. You want to be feared? Then stop announcing your moves. Just make them. Operate in silence. Strike with precision. Leave no doubt. You don't owe the world a warning, just results.